There's a reason your mind never fit inside the lines the world drew for you. A reason you feel the static other people never notice. A reason you process everything too fast, too deep, or too intensely for the comfort of the average person. And for most of your life, they tried to convince you that this difference was a flaw, a glitch, a burden. But here's the truth they never wanted to admit. The world isn't built by the well-behaved minds. It's built by the minds that refuse to conform. It's built by people like you. The neurodivergent mind is not broken. It is unfiltered power. It is raw electricity without a safety cover. It is thunder without permission. You don't think like everyone else because you were never meant to walk the same path. You were built to carve your own. And that terrifies people. Your intensity, your hyperfocus, your ability to see patterns before others detect a single clue, your obsession with what you love, your aversion to what feels fake or meaningless, your emotional depth, your sensitivity, your fire. These traits aren't liabilities. They're weapons. The world tries to turn them off because it fears what would happen if you ever learn to turn them on purpose. Let that sink in. Every trait they mocked, medicated, or misunderstood, every weakness you hid, every quirk you tried to smooth out just to blend in, those were never signs of defect. Those were signs of design. You were engineered for a different battlefield. Where others need motivation, you have obsession. Where others crumble under chaos, your mind creates order. Where others avoid complexity, your brain demands it. Where others see noise, you see coded messages waiting to be cracked. That is your advantage. But here's the dark truth. Your advantage becomes your downfall the moment you try to live like everyone else. You burn out because you're forcing your fire into a candle holder meant for people who were never built to burn like you. You feel broken because you're comparing your storm to their quiet sky. You feel behind because you're measuring your life by a map that was never drawn for you. Stop. Stop trying to dilute yourself to fit a world that benefits from your dullness. Stop apologizing for the intensity that was meant to make you unstoppable. Stop calling your gifts problems. Lean into them, wield them, weaponize them. Hyperfocus isn't a curse when pointed at the right target. Sensitivity isn't a weakness when you train it into emotional intelligence. Restlessness isn't a disorder when it becomes relentless innovation. Pattern recognition isn't weird when it predicts opportunity before it exists. You weren't made to follow systems. You were made to disrupt them. Every revolution, every breakthrough, every leap in human progress began with someone whose mind refused to stay inside the designated box. Someone who felt what you feel. Someone who thought the way you think. Someone who was underestimated, mislabeled, or dismissed. Right up until the moment they rewrote the rules. You are not here to fit in. You are here to bend reality around the shape of your mind. So let the world call you different. Because different built empires. Different discovered new worlds. Different reimagined everything we now call normal. The neurodivergent mind is not a curse. It is not a malfunction. It is a superpower disguised as struggle. And the moment you stop fighting your wiring, the moment you stop apologizing for your intensity, the moment you stop trying to be who the world designed and start becoming who you were designed to be, that's the moment everything shifts. Your life changes the second you realize this truth. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to break the pattern. And the world is waiting for the storm only you can unleash. Before you can rise into the power of the neurodivergent mind, you must understand one thing. Intensity without direction becomes chaos. But intensity with structure becomes destiny. Now that you've seen the truth of who you are and what you were built for, it's time to turn that truth into action. Let's break down exactly how to weaponize your difference, step by step, so you stop surviving your mind and start commanding it. Step 1. Identify your unfiltered strengths and stop masking them. You cannot weaponize a mind you keep trying to hide. The world conditioned you to shrink, piece by piece, year by year, until you barely recognized the raw power underneath all the masks. You learned to smile when you were overwhelmed, to stay quiet when your thoughts were burning, to sit still when your nervous system begged to move, to pretend you were fine when your mind was roaring with 100 parallel thoughts. Masking is not just exhausting, it is a slow death, a daily burial of the person you were designed to become. The first step toward mastery begins with pulling those buried parts out of the dirt and calling them by their true names: strengths, not disorders, not flaws, not inconveniences to the people who never understood you. Strengths. But this requires honesty, the kind that cuts. You must confront the traits you've spent your entire life trying to suffocate. Think about the moments people told you you were too much, too intense, too emotional, too focused, too distracted, too sensitive, too obsessive. Think about the parts of your mind you learned to suppress just to make others comfortable, or avoid the labels the world loves to carve into anyone who doesn't fit inside its fragile little mold. Instead of accepting those judgments, analyze them, dissect them. Because inside every insult lies a misunderstood superpower. Hyperfocus isn't a curse, it's a furnace. When you lock onto something meaningful, you can produce in 1 hour what others couldn't create in a week. That is not dysfunction. That is a tactical advantage. Emotional intensity isn't instability. It's depth perception of the soul. You feel more, sense more, connect more deeply than the world admits is possible. That isn't weakness. That's intuition sharpened to a blade. Restlessness isn't a flaw. It's an instinct for motion. You were not built for stagnation. Your mind is a storm looking for direction. The world fears storms, but empires are powered by them. Sensitivity isn't fragility. It's radar. It's the ability to detect threats, tension, lies, opportunities, and patterns before they become visible to anyone else. You can't teach that. You can only refine it. Pattern recognition isn't weird. It's a higher form of intelligence. You see the threads others miss. You connect dots others don't even know exist. This is how strategists, inventors, and innovators think. Society doesn't reward this trait because most people can't replicate it, and people fear what they can't replicate. To implement this step, you must do the work others avoid. You must unmask. Not in public. Not yet. You unmask with yourself first. Sit with a notebook or the quiet hum of your mind and begin extracting the traits that make you different. Don't judge them. Don't categorize them. Don't sanitize them. Just write them down raw, unfiltered, exactly as they come up. Then ask yourself one question for each trait. How could this be a strength if it were used intentionally? Not, how could I hide this better? Not, how can I make this more socially acceptable? But how can this become a tool, a weapon, a competitive edge? Because that's what it is. The world's most successful innovators, creators, leaders, strategists, and revolutionaries weren't the most disciplined or the most socially polished. They were the ones who learned how to weaponize what made them different. Your divergence is not a diagnosis. It is design. Once you begin identifying your strengths, you must make a final, decisive shift. Stop forcing yourself to act like everyone else. Stop trying to mimic the calm of a mind that was never built to run like yours. Stop apologizing for the fire inside your skull. Stop diluting your intensity to make the room more comfortable. Stop playing small so average people don't feel threatened. Masking is self-rejection. Self-rejection is self-destruction. And you cannot build a powerful life from a place of pretending. So step one is the excavation of your true identity, the unmasking, the brutal honesty, the reconnection to the traits that make you a force of nature. Because until you know what makes you different, you can't capitalize on it. Until you accept your mind's design, you can't harness its potential. Until you stop hiding your power, you can't begin using it. This step is the beginning of everything. The moment you stop treating your mind like a problem and start treating it like the weapon it is, everything changes. This is where the real you emerges. Unmasked, unfiltered, unapologetic, undeniable. Step 2. Build a life system that aligns with your brain's operating framework. The neurodivergent mind is not chaotic by nature. It only becomes chaotic when forced into systems built for someone else. The moment you try to operate like the average person, you disconnect from your own power source. You burn out, shut down, dissociate, or crash, then blame yourself for not being disciplined enough. But discipline isn't the issue. The issue is misalignment. Your brain has its own architecture, its own rhythm, its own rules. And until you build your life around that rhythm, you will always feel like you're malfunctioning. The truth is darker and more liberating. You are not broken. Your environment is incompatible with your evolution. The neurodivergent mind operates in bursts, intense surges of focus followed by sudden drops of energy. Your creativity and productivity come alive not through steady repetition, but through cycles of immersion, rest, curiosity, and renewal. Society calls this inconsistency, but nature calls it specialization. To implement this step, you must stop forcing your brain into the narrow lanes of neurotypical structure and start designing a system that matches your internal operating pattern. 1. Identify your brain's natural rhythm. Pay attention to when your mind actually wakes up, not when a clock says it should. Notice when your focus naturally ignites. Track the environments where ideas pour out effortlessly versus the ones that suffocate you. Your system begins when you stop shaming your rhythm and start studying it. Ask yourself, when do I enter deep focus without trying? What conditions calm the storm in my mind? What instantly kills my motivation? What triggers my hyperfocus? The more you observe, the clearer your blueprint becomes. 2. Build environments that amplify your strengths. Neurodivergent productivity is environmental. You can be unstoppable in the right space and dysfunctional in the wrong one. Some need silence, Some need chaos. Some need dim lighting. Some need loud music. Some need isolation. Some need stimulation. There is no correct environment. There is only the one that turns your mind into a weapon. Once you find it, you must protect it ruthlessly. Your environment is not a preference. It is part of your operating system. 3. Work in focus sprints, not marathons. Your brain is built for intensity, not duration. Long, steady, uninterrupted sessions drain you, but short bursts of high-voltage focus, that's where you dominate. Create a workflow that encourages quick activation. Short, high-impact focus windows, micro breaks, strategic disengagement. Return to focus when the energy resurges. When you honor this cycle, your output skyrockets. 4. Remove the friction that stops you from starting. For neurodivergent minds, the hardest part is the beginning, not the doing. Starting a task can feel like pushing a mountain uphill because your brain needs clarity and momentum before it commits. So, design your system to make starting effortless. Break tasks into tiny, obvious steps. Reduce decision-making. Keep your tools easily accessible. Simplify your workspace. Build rituals that activate focus automatically. When friction disappears, resistance dissolves with it. 5. Create flexible routines, not rigid schedules. Traditional routines suffocate the neurodivergent mind, but structured freedom, that's where you thrive. Instead of rigid timelines, use modular routines, blocks of action that can move, stretch, contract, or reappear depending on your energy. Example: deep work block instead of work from 9 to 11. Creative surge window instead of brainstorm at 4 p.m. Recovery phase instead of take a break for 15 minutes. This gives your mind structure, but not a prison. The dark truth of step 2. If you do not design your life around the way your brain naturally operates, you will forever feel at war with yourself. But when you align, when you stop fighting your wiring and start flowing with it, something shifts. Your thoughts sharpen, your focus intensifies, your energy stabilizes, your productivity becomes effortless, your potential becomes visible. This step is the difference between surviving and dominating, between chaos and command, between feeling broken and becoming unstoppable. Build the system that fits your mind, not the world's expectations. Step 3. Turn your obsessions into mastery and your curiosities into profit. One of the greatest lies forced onto neurodivergent minds is the idea that obsession is dangerous, unhealthy, or something to manage. Society fears what it cannot regulate, and nothing is harder to regulate than a mind that falls into deep, electric, all-consuming focus. They call it fixation. They call it distraction. They call it too intense, too much, too extreme. But obsession is not your weakness. It is your sharpest blade. The neurotypical world survives on moderate interest. You thrive on intensity. Where others dabble, you devour. Where others get bored, you get absorbed. Where others skim the surface, you dive into the abyss and return with treasure. This step is about recognizing that your obsessions, those subjects, skills, ideas, or fascinations you can't let go of, are not random. They are signals. They are the deeper language of your subconscious, pointing to where your greatest gifts and advantages lie. When something grabs your attention so completely that hours vanish, that you forget to eat, that your mind becomes a laser pointed at one precise target, that is not dysfunction. That is alignment. Your job is not to suppress that fire. Your job is to aim it. 1. Identify the patterns in your obsessions. Every obsession you've ever had, no matter how strange, fleeting, or intense, contains clues about your strengths. Look back over your life. What did you hyper-focus on as a child? What topics pulled you in as a teenager? What skills absorb you now when no one is forcing you? These patterns reveal your natural intelligence, your strategic advantage, your creative gifts, your problem-solving style, your ideal career paths, your deepest internal motivations. Most people have to guess what they're good at. You don't. Your brain tells you every time it locks onto something with unnatural intensity. Obsessions are not accidents. They are calling cards from your potential. 2. Choose one obsession and sharpen it into mastery. The neurodivergent mind can do anything, but not everything at once. Scatter your intensity across too many targets and you burn out. Concentrate it on one target and you become unstoppable. Pick one obsession that feels alive inside you. One thing your brain returns to again and again, despite life's distractions. Then, commit to mastery. Mastery requires repetition, curiosity, ruthless focus, time spent in the deep work zone, a refusal to stay mediocre. You do not need to be good at everything. You only need to become unforgettable at one thing. The world pays extraordinary attention and extraordinary money to people who are exceptional in a single domain. 3. Transform curiosity into skill and skill into value. Curiosity is the precursor to genius. It is the mental spark that precedes every breakthrough. When you follow curiosity relentlessly, it becomes skill. When you refine skill relentlessly, it becomes expertise. When expertise becomes unique, it becomes value. This is where profit emerges. Most people try to monetize what they think the world wants. Neurodivergent power comes from monetizing what your brain naturally gravitates toward. Whether it's art, tech, writing, engineering, systems thinking, strategy, finance, storytelling, design, gaming, psychology, mechanics, or something niche, your obsession can become a business, a service, a brand, a product, a specialization, a career, a side income, an intellectual signature. People will pay for what you can do effortlessly, but they find difficult or impossible. Your uniqueness is your market advantage. 4. Become the outlier. Everyone seeks out. Mastery makes you magnetic. Obsession makes you undeniable. Expertise makes you valuable. When you commit deeply to one obsession, you rise above the noise. People who brushed you off before now come to you for guidance. People who underestimated you must confront your results. People who once judged your intensity now depend on it. The world always doubts the outlier until it needs the outlier. Your mind is built for specialization, not conformity. You were never meant to be well-rounded. You were meant to be razor-sharp in the areas where others are dull. 5. Accept that your obsession is not a phase. It is your path. Stop apologizing for your intensity. Stop treating your deep focus as something to hide. Stop telling yourself that you should dial it back. No. Dial it forward. Dial it deeper. Dial it to the level that scares you. Because the truth is simple. Your obsession is the doorway to your destiny. Where your curiosity points, your calling lives. Where your mind naturally focuses, your genius forms. Where your intensity deepens, your future expands. This step is not just about using your obsessions, it is about trusting them. It is about recognizing that they were never random impulses, but encoded instructions from the highest version of yourself. Turn your obsessions into your craft. Turn your craft into mastery. Turn your mastery into value. Turn your value into power. This is how the neurodivergent mind rises, not by suppressing what makes it different, but by weaponizing what makes it unstoppable. Step 4. Eliminate the environments and people that drain your mental power. A neurodivergent mind is powerful, but also permeable. You absorb energy, tension, chaos, emotions, noise, and subtle shifts in the environment far faster and deeper than others. This is not weakness. It is sensitivity sharpened into a survival skill. But when you place that sensitivity in the wrong environment, it becomes a liability. When you surround it with the wrong people, it becomes poison. This step is about becoming ruthless, cutting away the forces that bleed you dry so you can reclaim the mental power you were meant to wield. 1. Understand that environment controls your mental state. The neurotypical mind can tolerate clutter, noise, unpredictability, and low-grade chaos. Your mind cannot. Your nervous system reacts instantly. Tight chest, scattered thoughts, overstimulation, shutdown, irritability, or dissociation. A draining environment doesn't just inconvenience you, it hijacks your cognitive bandwidth. It steals your clarity, creativity, and focus before you even begin. If your environment is wrong, you can have all the potential in the world and still feel stuck. So ask yourself brutally, where does my mind die? Where does it come alive? Your environment shapes your destiny more than your intentions ever will. 2. Identify the invisible drains. Some environments drain you in obvious ways: loud spaces, cluttered rooms, chaotic workplaces. Others drain you quietly, subtly, almost imperceptibly, until the damage is already done. Invisible drains include people who demand small talk, people who judge, belittle, or misunderstand you, people who call your differences difficult, people who create emotional tension, spaces where expectations constantly shift, situations that require masking, environments with no structure or too much structure, rooms filled with unspoken conflict, jobs that force you to suppress your natural patterns. Each of these drains you like a slow leak from a reservoir. One moment you're fine, the next you're empty and can't explain why. But now you know, your mind wasn't breaking, your environment was. 3. Create distance from people who diminish you. Certain people are kryptonite to the neurodivergent mind. These are the individuals who force you to mask, expect you to act normal, treat your intensity as a threat, drain you with constant negativity, interrupt your focus, mock your passions, overwhelm you with emotional chaos, take more energy than they give. You cannot evolve while staying loyal to people who benefit from your stagnation. This is not about cutting everyone off. It's about choosing who gets access to your energy. You are not obligated to carry people who continually weaken the armor you're building. Protecting your energy isn't selfish. It is strategic. 4. Build environments that amplify your strengths instead of crushing them. Your mind thrives in spaces where expectations are clear, stimuli are controlled. You can move at your natural rhythm. You can focus deeply without interruption. Your intensity is allowed, not shamed. Your curiosity is encouraged. Your passions are understood. Your environment should fuel your fire, not extinguish it. Start small. Clear your workspace. Remove visual clutter. Control sound levels. Create a designated, deep focus zone. Surround yourself with tools that activate your mind. Remove anything that pulls your attention away from your mission. When your space aligns with your brain, motivation becomes effortless. 5. Protect your mental ecosystem. Like it's sacred, because it is. Your mind is not an everyday engine. It is a high-performance machine, but only when placed in the conditions it was built for. You must enforce boundaries with force, clarity, and conviction. Say no without guilt. Leave environments that drain you. Limit access to people who destabilize you. Build a circle that respects your wiring instead of questioning it. Do not let the world guilt you into tolerating environments that kill your potential. The truth is simple and dark. Your success is determined by the ecosystem you place your mind in. A powerful mind in a draining environment becomes a burden. A powerful mind in a nourishing environment becomes unstoppable. This step is not soft. It is not optional. It is not negotiable. If you want to rise, if you want to become the most potent version of yourself, if you want to build a life worthy of your mind's design, you must become ruthless in protecting your mental terrain. Eliminate what drains you. Protect what strengthens you. Build an environment worthy of your potential. Step 5. Step into the identity of the outlier and lead with your difference, not despite it. There comes a moment in every neurodivergent person's life where the battle is no longer external. The fight is no longer against environments, routines, or other people. The final battle is internal, and it asks one brutal question. Will you continue living as the version of yourself the world trained you to be? Or will you become the version you were born to be? Most people die as replicas, imitations of expectations, products of pressure, echoes of someone else's design. But the neurodivergent mind was never meant to blend in with the background noise of humanity. You were built to stand out, to disrupt, to reimagine, to redefine, to lead. This step is about identity. The identity you choose, the identity you build, and the identity you refuse to apologize for. Because the truth is this: you will never live a powerful life while pretending to be someone ordinary. 1. Stop apologizing for being different. How many years have you spent shrinking yourself? How many times have you softened your voice, dulled your intensity, or edited your personality so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable? You apologized for thinking differently, feeling deeply hyper-focusing, being intense, being sensitive, asking too many questions, wanting solitude, needing clarity, being too something. But all those things you apologized for are the exact traits that could remake your entire life. The moment you stop apologizing is the moment your power begins. Not because the world changes, but because you stop negotiating with your own potential. 2. Embrace the identity of the outlier. Most people spend their lives trying to blend into the crowd. You were never part of the crowd to begin with. Being an outlier means you see what others miss. You think in dimensions they don't understand. You move on instincts they don't possess. You pursue truths they aren't brave enough to confront. Your difference is not a disadvantage. It is a strategic position on the battlefield of life. When you finally step into that role, you stop waiting for acceptance and start claiming authority. You stop seeking belonging and start commanding respect. Outliers don't ask for permission. Outliers create new rules. 3. Make decisions based on who you are, not who others want you to be. This is where most people fail. They build their lives around the expectations placed on them. Careers chosen for approval, hobbies chosen for acceptance, behaviors chosen for comfort, choices made to fit in instead of rise up. But when you design your life from the outside in, you lose everything that makes you strong internally. The neurodivergent mind must live from the inside outward. Every decision must begin with, is this aligned with who I truly am? Does this support the identity I'm building? Does this take me closer to my purpose or pull me away from it? When your decisions reflect your authentic identity, life stops feeling chaotic. Not because the world becomes easier, but because you stop betraying yourself. Self-betrayal is the deepest form of burnout. 4. Accept that misunderstanding is proof of authenticity. You will be misunderstood. You will be judged. You will be underestimated. You will be questioned. But understand this clearly. Misunderstanding is a sign you have stepped into your true identity. People don't misunderstand replicas. They misunderstand originals. People don't question the predictable. They question the unpredictable. People don't attack the average. They attack the exceptional. Being misunderstood is not a threat. It is confirmation. When others cannot categorize you, you become powerful. When they cannot predict you, you become dangerous. The world tries to box what it fears. Do not climb into the box. 5. Lead with your difference. Command with your identity. Leadership was never about being the loudest, the most charismatic, or the most socially polished. Leadership is about clarity, conviction, and the willingness to walk alone before others have the courage to follow. The neurodivergent mind becomes a leader the moment it stops hiding. Lead with your pattern recognition. Lead with your depth. Lead with your intensity. Lead with your unconventional thinking. Lead with your emotional intelligence. Lead with your creativity. Lead with your honesty. Lead with your obsession. Lead with your uniqueness so boldly that people have no choice but to take notice. The world does not need more conformity. The world needs people who can see beyond the veil of the obvious. People like you. The dark truth of Step 5. You will never reach your potential if your identity is built from fear, shame, or self-suppression. You rise only when you commit, fully, unapologetically, to the identity of the outlier. This step is about becoming the person your childhood self hoped you'd grow into, the person your masked self hid, the person your potential has been waiting for, the person your destiny demands. Once you choose that identity, once you lead with your difference, not despite it, life bends. Opportunities shift. People respond differently. Your path becomes clearer. Identity is the engine of destiny. Step into who you are. Lead as the outlier. Stand as the one they cannot ignore, cannot define, cannot break. Now you understand the truth they never wanted you to discover. You were never meant to fit their mold, follow their systems, or silence the pulse of your own mind. Everything they called a flaw was actually dormant strength. Everything they told you to mute was a weapon waiting to be drawn. Everything they labeled too much was power they were afraid you'd learn to control. You've unmasked your strengths. You've learned to build systems that match your wiring. You've aimed your obsessions toward mastery. You've cut away the people and environments that drain your fire. And now, you rise as the outlier you were always meant to become. This path is not for the comfortable. It is not for the faint, the average, or the obedient. It is for the ones who feel the thunder inside their skull and know they were built for more than quiet compliance. It is for the minds that will not bow, for the hearts that will not break, for the spirits that refuse to live unseen. Your difference is not a burden. It is your blueprint, your destiny, your advantage in a world sleepwalking through its own potential. So step forward with intention, move with precision, create with ferocity, live with unapologetic truth. The world has tried to tame you for long enough. Now let it witness what happens when you finally unleash what you are. Carpe noctem. Go build the life only you can create.